Good morning. So today we have with us Stephen Khun, and he has a lot to say. Um, so can you introduce yourself?
Sure.
I know a lot of people know you already. So
Sure. Yeah, my name's Stephen Kuhn, and I live in Budapest, or near Budapest, Hungary. Been abroad since 1986 when I joined the U.S. Army. Was stationed in Germany. Went to Iraq, came back to Germany, got out and stayed in Europe. So I did a European out, and I've been here now 28 years as a civilian in my ninth country. And I'm a turnaround consultant, own the Vetrepreneur tribe, have the Warrior Council, and an author with my co-author Lane Belone, and a bunch of other stuff. But basically, it has to do with human connection. So anything I do, anything I write, anything I work with, any people I work with, it always has to do with the human connection and unlocking the potential that's already inside of them. So that's sort of my story in a nutshell, if you will.
that's pretty awesome. And I know you keep busy and you have your own, you come up everyday life and share a lot of good information with a lot of small business owners, especially entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You have your own coaching group.
Yep.
And you just came out with Humble Alpha.
Yep.
That tells that. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. This is the book. It's called Unleash Your Humble Alpha, and it's by myself and Lane Belone, my business partner and co-author and brother, fellow veteran. And it's about owning your presence in life and becoming that epic leader that's already inside of you. And it's basically based on 5 principles. And those 5 principles are HIT, which stands for honesty, integrity, and transparency. Then there's creating space, investing in relational capital, life enterprise, and then quality of life. And those 3 principles are universal. And that's the cool thing about it, is it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you live, what language you speak, as long as you can read English for now, that it fits into your life and it helps you achieve the greatness that's already inside of you. Everyone thinks that we have to, be on the outside all the time, looking at how we can grow and, I need this course and that course and this course to learn. But until you internalize the simple fact that anything's possible, that learning is only like a Band-Aid to your forward movement. True power comes from within. True power is bred and fed from within. So whatever you learn on the outside, you have to internalize it on the inside. It's like making a decision. Like starting today, I'm doing this. Period. Done. There's no in between. I mean, it's like either you drive your car or you don't drive your car. There's no trying. If you try, you're going to wreck. It's the same thing in life. Either you go all in and then say, look, this is my mission. This is my life. This is what I'm all about. I'm going to do it. Period. Done. Finished. That's it. Or you don't do it. And most people, unfortunately, they don't do it. They get along. It's okay. It's not bad. I make enough. I'm better than the other guy or the other gal, and they sort of drift through life until they sit there one day and say, damn, I never realized my true potential. And we're all about saying, get it done now. Do it now. Tomorrow's never going to come. Your time is now, period.
I know we are usually word sabotages, and we can be our best cheerleaders. So it's all about mindset, right?
Well, it's about mindset, but mindset's one part of it. The actual truth is within. I mean, that's that feeling. You've had it before. Everyone has, where you're in something and you're doing something and it just feels so natural and so flow. You don't even have to think. You don't have to worry. You don't have to plan or jockey around for position. It just is. And that's what we're talking about. When you get in that position all day, every day, life changes dramatically.
So what would you recommend to somebody that you're starting up? They don't know what they don't know. They try to figure out everything. And sometimes it comes to decisions of try to figure it out, try to do the smart thing, or go with your gut. You got the answer.
Well, going with your gut is often misunderstood, I think. People they say they go with their gut, but then they analyze it with their head, and then that sort of throws it off. But for anyone starting out, you have to know your purpose. Your purpose in life will make everything much easier and make a lot of things fall into place. But to do that, you have to know who you are, right? You have to know what your true identity is. You've heard it before. People say, you know who I am? I'm the CEO. And you're like, well, actually, that's what you do. That's not who you are. And if you ask them who you are, I challenge anyone out there to ask someone who they are and see what kind of answer you get. You're not gonna get an answer. They're gonna be like, what do you mean? Well, I'm Steven. I'm an American. They're all basically titles or positions. Most people take their title, their presence and power from a title or a position. That's just how we've been raised. But true purpose in life is crystallized through finding your true identity. That doesn't mean you demolish your old identity. That means you adapt it to the new way, the new factors that you find in your life that actually drive you, the things in life that actually, put juice in your life and just fire in your veins. And once you do that, then your purpose crystallizes in front of you. And the cool thing about that is once your purpose and your identity are aligned, you're amplifying your true identity. And that amplification is what we talk about presence, owning your presence in life. And when you do that, you just have a certainty in your mind that whatever you touch, whoever you talk to, wherever you go, whatever you do is going to be successful, because that's just the way it is. You're certain of it, period. The how doesn't even matter. How it's going to happen, how it's going to work. No one can dictate that, because we don't control the outcome, do we? We only control the intention as we move forward. We can control our input, we control our intentions, but the outcome, there's too many variables included in the outcome that we can't control it 100%. So why not just focus on the intention and drive forward with that?
And that's like your book say, right?
Yeah.
I started reading it, and you have to ask why until you get to the actual why.
Yeah.
As many times you have to kind of, it's like an onion. You have to peel the layers that you put in between you and your true intentions and your true inner self.
Yeah.
Until you get to that why. Because if
Right.
you don't know that, you can really move
Right,
forward.
but it's not so much, it's like people say the why will make you buy. The why is your reason for living. The why is your reason for I don't believe in that. What I'm saying is the why is how you peel the onion. So if you say to me, hey, I want to do this because it allows me to have impact in the world. Like, well, why is that important for you? Because I want to help a lot of people. Why? Because it's important to me. Why? Why is it important to you? Well, because I feel like that if I can give, then this, that, and the other. Like, well, why is that important? And people are like, what do you mean why? Well, I'm asking you why. If you don't know, why are you doing it? Right. So once you get down to the point, and you'll see a lot of times that the whys that you're talking about have to do with very, very, very personal issues. So for instance, someone didn't feel, mentored as a child. They didn't have a father figure or felt left alone. So now they go out and try to fix the world that way. So if you can tie that why down all the way down to a purpose, then you're golden. Then you're really moving forward. But most people do not know why they're doing what they're doing besides I'm good at it, or I can make money, or it's going well. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why we boil it down and break it down. Yeah.
So what is something that you would advise to people that you're starting up, that what are tools and before, besides discovering what the why and what the intentions are and getting to the root of what they're starting, what are the questions that need to be asking
themselves, you mean? Asking themselves?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
because we had
go ahead.
good, they have to look at the business side. They have to look at the foundation. They have to look build the team, figure out the intentions. But they have to they have to ask themselves if they want to stay the long way or the short term. They want to have a
again,
purpose.
It's all tied to purpose. It's all tied to purpose. The question is, are you working too hard for too little? Are you busting your ass and you're not getting anywhere? Are you feeling like you don't know where you're going, but you're just going because you think you have to? There's an old saying that I've used for years, and that's like, if you don't know how to get to where you want to go, ask someone who's been there. It's literally that simple. Too often, especially veterans, we're trained for years and years and years on how to work as a team. And then we get out and say, I want to do it alone. I got to prove it. I got to prove it. I can do it alone. I'm a hero kind of thing, And so we're literally going against what we've learned that works really well. I said there's no time, there's no I in team or whatever, but it's people want to go it alone and they don't get help when they need it, and they wait too long to get help, and then they're sitting there, desperate, and then they clamor for some kind of solution. So they'll grab the next best thing, and the next best thing will get them maybe back on their feet a little bit, but it's never going to drive them where they really should almost spiritually be, because it's not tied to their purpose or their identity. And I can't stress that enough. I'll come back to that same answer every single time, because until you know who you are and what your purpose is in life, and I mean real purpose, not like I want to start a nonprofit like 50,000 other veterans because I want to help veterans. That's not a purpose. What's your purpose? Why do you want to help those veterans? Why is it important for you to help those veterans? What kind of veterans? When do you want to help them? What tier in life? Is it transition? Is it PTSD? Is it after a breakdown? Before a breakdown? What is it? Why is it? How is it? When is it? All these questions about what you dig so deep to the point where you're down on your knees crying because you found out what it is that really, really drives you and is connected to everything that you do. Again, my whole life, everything I do, whether it's business consulting, M&A, coaching, author, books, all that kind of stuff, it's all tied to that one thing, and that's the interpersonal relations. For me, it's important that people realize the potential inside of them, that anything, you just got to flip that switch. Anything's possible. Anything. Marcus Aurelius said it best, Caesar. He said it best. If one can do it, anyone can do it, period. And once we get that into our mind, it sort of eases up, right? It takes the pressure off. Like, okay, I don't know how to do it. Let me ask somebody how to do it. But all of the potential, all of the talent, all of the abilities are already within you. So when you know anything's possible and you have all the abilities, it's pretty easy to get started. You just start asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That all the skills and everything, it's just tools that it take you there.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have the skill set, but you have the belief, you will get the skill set when it's time to get the skill set. When you need it, it'll come. Often we don't get, when you live this way, often you don't get what you want, you get what you need. So you stop looking at what you want and just take what you need. It's like Mick Jagger said, you can't always get what you want, but many times you get what you need. Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us how you started? How you started from the beginning? Like, what made you start the journey as an entrepreneur? I know you were in the military.
Yeah.
And then you stay over there and you had a very successful career so far, as a lot of business, a lot of.
Well, I did. I've done a lot of things, and people ask me all the time, like, why didn't you ever make anything out of the things that you did? I owned cocktail bars and a nightclub. I worked for Mick Jagger, Olivia Newton-John, Andrea Bocelli, parliaments, world leaders, hung out with kings and queens and duchesses and dukes, and was invited to the royal birthday parties. And just all kinds of craziness in 9 countries I've lived so far. And people are like, why didn't you make something out of it? And I said, what do you mean? I did. Right? It's the book. It's the way that I can communicate with people and bring them to the best version of themselves now. And it all started with me just following my path, right? I believe our destinies are pre-written, but too often we don't allow it ourselves to go onto that path. We try to steer our way, and we'll go to the shiny objects, or the quick money, or the easy way, the easy path, or whatever. So when I started, I just got out of the military and said, okay, from here on forward, onward, upward. And I started out as a security guy, a doorman, got into fights and had a breakdown. And a couple of years later, I had a breakdown, and and then I got back on again, and my cocktail bars were going well. And then I got recruited by a corporation, and started working for them. Then I rose up through the ranks at the age of 32. After I got out of the Army, it was 5 years later, I was a European Director of Operations and Development for this huge corporation with 3,500 employees, 87 locations. And I thought I was at the top of the world, but actually, when I look back now, it was the bottom of the barrel. I was a slave. I was working 80, 90 hours a week, traveling 4 countries a week, and just busting my butt and making a lot of money, but it was just all going, for nothing, And through that, I lost my ex-wife. She left me, and lost all my money in some weird event, and eventually lost that job too. So I crashed again, right? And that was my first book came out. That was in 2003, and that book was in German. It was about the Gulf War. It was all of my thoughts and feelings about a very personal book about how I felt like, when I was in the war, how I wasn't the first one to volunteer, so I felt like a loser or a fraud or whatever, and what it felt like to be in war, and how when I saw what I saw, that it changed the way that I felt about being a soldier. And when I got out, then it just, when I got out of that, I got back into the corporate world again. And the same thing happened. Then in 2008, everything lost. I was homeless, crashed. It was horrible. It was horrible, horrible, horrible life. And so I disappeared and went to a monastery. I left everything behind. I went to a Benedictine Christian monastery in the Austrian Alps, or in the Austrian mountains. And I left everything behind, didn't pay rent, didn't pay bills, didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew where I was. They all thought I was dead. I literally just disappeared for 8 months. And that's where I understood who I really was, and understood what I'm all about, and who I am, and why I am, and what I am. And when I came out of there, I swore I'd never go back, and I haven't. I did for a short period of time, but I did it on my terms. So I literally am implemented into this company all of the positivity, spirituality, the HIT principles, all of this stuff I implemented into their training, which made the company soar, and they wanted to keep me on, but eventually I left. And I just, opened a bank in Poland in 2015, just because I was asked if I could, and it's like, all right, let's do it. So I flew up there every week for 6 months, and opened the lending institution, and then I was done, and I left. And then I was asked if I do that. Oh yeah, we'll do that. Oh, what about this? We'll do that too. So I'm always following that passion to learn more. And a lot of times, like right now, I have a deal going on in Italy that I'm going to mediate, and it's a deal between the Italian government and an American corporation. I don't know anything about what the heck they're doing there, but not only do they trust me to do it, I know that because there's a little bit of like, I wonder what I have to do there. Anytime I feel fear, anytime I feel something like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, which is rare, I know that I'm getting ready to grow, and I know I'm getting ready to learn. And for me, that turns that like, oh, I don't know, to like, oh man, this is great, I don't know. That means I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to expand, I'm going to meet new people. Every person I meet is a door to a new reality, a door to a whole new network of people that we can interact with. And so that's how I see my life enterprise. I look around at everything, and every time I help somebody or I add value, whatever, I'm adding that radiant value that goes out and out and out, ensuring that my life enterprise is completely filled with only positive people that are giving back. That just makes life almost effortless.
That's impressive and very important.
Well, it's I always try to break it down and keep it simple. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, well, you live in a village of 2,000 people in Hungary. You don't make any money there, because even if I did have a job, it wouldn't make any money. Average wages here are like $800 a month. And they say, how do you live the way you live, the lifestyle I live, and you aren't even like traveling or anything? Well, that's because I add value. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I can add value to for anyone I consult, whether it's a business turnaround or a startup. If it's a book deal or whatever it is, I know that I can add value. And I do that by creating space, which you probably know from the book. And Lane and I practice that on a daily basis. That's how we live our lives. And that's why nothing's ever a problem. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, nothing's ever a problem, because we always know it's just a temporary situation. And we dictate from our inside. We dictate from our thoughts, our beliefs, and what we embrace, what's going to happen in our life. It's not the outside stuff that dictates. Only if you listen to your mind and your thoughts, which are things that haven't happened yet. Your mind is constantly telling you things that haven't happened yet based on past experiences. But guess what? You're here now, and you can change it in a second, in a minute, in an hour, in a year, whatever it is you want to change. You can change every single day, at any single minute, and any single second. Boom, just like that. Today, I'm going to flip the switch. Boom, I'm done. I'm done goofing off. I'm done, wondering what. I'm just going all in. And if you got to go all in. You got to go all in whatever you do. And I don't mean like forget everything else, but you got to say, this is what I'm doing. No hesitation, no waiting, no like, oh, let's see what happens and all, and we get caught in it too, right? I had a friend die last Saturday, really good friend here in Hungary, in the next village. And he had gone to Peru with myself and Lane and Jeff and Guy and all the other guys from the tribe last year in 2019. And, Lane and I and the guys kept, we gotta get to, we gotta wait for COVID so we could go back to Peru. We gotta wait for COVID so we could go back to Peru. And Lane had mentioned he's going in March no matter what. But then when Thomas died, that sort of pushed me over the edge and said, what am I waiting for? Screw COVID. Sorry, I almost said fuck. Screw COVID, right? Screw COVID. I'm going. I know. I said it anyway, right? So screw COVID. We're going. We're planning. We're going in March. We're making it happen. So I was waiting for COVID to be over before I planned my life. How ridiculous is that? Do it anyway. Go anyway. So now we're planning as we speak in this very moment. We're planning the Peru trip and the agenda and who's going and who's not and this, that, and the other. And so even after practicing all these years, I'm still sometimes, sometimes I get caught in waiting too. We just can't wait. No more waiting.
Yeah. If it feels right, you have to do it.
Yep.
There's no other way. Because
Exactly.
otherwise, you had that nagging regret in you all the time. So that's worse than anything, I believe.
Well, that's what they say is that, when you're on your deathbed, you never regret what you did. You'll only regret what you didn't do.
And can you tell us about that trip to
Peru?
To Peru?
Yeah, it's a life-altering trip every year. I've been working with sacred plant medicine for over 16 years now. So I work with San Pedro, which is a cactus, and I work with ayahuasca, which is a root from the Amazon, a root and a vine from the Amazon. And one's called the mother, that's ayahuasca, and one's called and one's called the father, which is San Pedro. And the mother, or ayahuasca, is sort of the spiritual upper worlds universe, and San Pedro is the grounding earth. So when you work with them together, some people call them psychedelics, but they're actually plant medicine, sacred plant medicine used for thousands of years in the Amazon and in South America. We use them to facilitate growth and to unblock all mental, spiritual, physical blockages that you have in your system or in your belief factors, where you go in with an intention, you focus on that intention, and once you feel it's achieved while you're going in these ceremonies, you let it go. And we actually have a ceremony, Pachamama ceremony, where we let it go. And what you do is once you let the intention go, then the certainty takes over, and that certainty will drive you to where you need to go without even knowing how to get there. And I've done it over and over and over and over again. I mean, this house I'm sitting in, I bought this house, this business, my online business I started. I went to Peru and said, my intention is to have an online business, make 100K and buy a house within the next year. And the business in the 100K started. I mean, I achieved that within 3 months of leaving Peru. And I did it online with no website, no business card, no nothing, just live videos on Facebook. That's all I did. Made 100K in 3 months. And then the business was started through that, of course. And then the house came 6 or 8 months later, I forget it was. And when I bought the house and signed for the house, I was like, holy shit, it all happened. Like wasn't even thinking about it. It just because of the certainty was there. I knew it was going to happen. But when it happened, I wasn't even aware that it was happening. It was just, for me, natural progress. And so when we're down there, we work with the Quechua tribe. And the Quechua tribe is the last descendants of the Incas. There's only 800 of them left. We work with the father and 2 sons, Luis. And we go on an 8-day journey. We go there, acclimatize for a day. We're actually planning it out right now. I could read it to you almost. We come in for a day, and then we have everything's included. So they pick you up at the airport. We pick you up at the airport. We drop you off at the mountain house. All the ceremonies are included, all the food, the drinks included, transportation to Machu Picchu, Oron Tombeando, Pisac Market, the animal sanctuary. The Sacred Valley is directly in front of the door. I mean, you walk out the gate and you're at the Temple of the Moon, 100 feet away. So if you've ever seen Ancient Aliens, where they filmed all of those ruins of the Incan Empire, that's right in front of us. Like, we walk to it every day. It takes 3 minutes to get there. Every single day after the ceremony, in the morning when you wake up, at night before you go to bed, you're going through these ancient temples, and it is amazing. It's just something that you cannot duplicate anywhere else on the planet. It's just impossible because of where you are at that time. Temple of the Frog, Temple of the Moon, San Pedro, the sacrificial temple. You have the Pachamama birth canal. You have I mean, it's just, wow, it's amazing. The marriage thrones of the Incas are right in front. I mean, literally a minute walk from the front of their compound, which is the end of the Inca Trail, by the way. So you walk out of their compound, you're on the Inca Trail. Boom, just like that. And it's just amazing. And so, we go down there with guys and gals. It's relatively inexpensive for everything that you get. You just got to get down there. We'll take care of the rest. And they come back clarity, clear, purpose-driven, focused. It's collapsing time. Basically, it's like a year of work in 8 days. It just flows. It's amazing. I could go on forever, but I'll stop.
I want to sign up, and I'm sure a lot of people listening will sign up as well. How can they?
Just contact us. We do have a landing page for that. While we're talking, I'll find it and I'll put the link in the chat here, and then you can download it and put it in in the show notes or wherever you do here. Yeah.
In the comments, yeah.
Yeah. In the comments, there we go.
It sounds incredible. It sounds amazing. It
is. It's I mean, the first time I went, I was like, oh my Lord, like I can't believe this is like real. I just, it's a world unknown to so many people, and when you realize how effortless life can be and how much joy you can have, and literally living your life the way you want to live your life, it's scary to see how simple it is. Everything's simple. We humans in our mind and our logic, we overcomplicate everything for no reason. It's sad, actually, and I find myself doing it over and over. Every time we learn something, it's like, oh, I got to implement this in my life right now. No, you read it. If it applies, if your inside is motivated by it, it'll work its way in if you trust and you have faith in it. Just create that certainty. So yeah. I'm trying to.
So I got a questions. So you have all these businesses and you work on merger acquisition. So you actually part of several companies and have your own project, your life. How do you organize it? How do you make sure that everything is aligned, because they all have kind of different purpose?
Well, for me, the purpose is the same. It's all, like I said, personal relations, whether you're in business or part of a business or, whatever it is that you are, it's all has to do with people. So if I'm doing an M&A deal, it's about me working with the person who's selling the company to find out what's their true mission in life. Why do they want to sell? What is it that they're wanting to sell for? What do they want to accomplish? All these kind of things. Right. So that's what I look at. And as far as organizing it, I block out parts of my day where it's non-negotiable. This is when I work and this is when I don't work. I don't care when you want to call me. And, some people like, oh, I need to talk to you, but I'm in the Pacific, I'm sorry. And I'm like, look, I'm 9 hours ahead of you. So let's figure something out, but this is when I work from then to then, and that's it. And so I try to keep my days around 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And that's pretty much as I work. A lot of that time, a lot of what I do is what I'm doing now. It's coaching and consulting. That's probably 80-90% of what I do. So I don't write things and do admin and none of that stuff. Like I don't do any of that stuff. It's all outsourced, or someone else does it, or I delegate, because, Lane and I are the same way. We do what we love, and anything else that we don't love, we just outsource it or get someone else to do it. Why would I waste my time and energy and love for life and lust for life on something that I hate doing? Because it has to get done. Well, okay, then let's find some other way to do it. Barter with somebody, right? Pay someone from a VA in a third world country like Philippines or wherever, pay them $300 a month. They'll do everything for you. And people are like, well, that's exploitation. No, it's not. $300 is a lot of money over there, right? So I mean, right. It's like you're helping somebody, right? So do the things that you love the most, because you're going to be so much better at it when you're not distracted by administration and click funnels and all that crap. Sorry. All that stuff that I can't stand, because it's all up here. I live here, right? I live here in my solar plexus. I live in my nuclear reactor. I don't live up here. If when you live up here, you go crazy. When I live up here, you think too much. You get nervous. You get hectic. You're worried. You're thinking about what about this? What about COVID? Die this that. Blah. And you live down here. It's like I feel the now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling purpose. What do I draw? What am I driving for? What's my passion and purpose in life? That's what's important. All that shit out there, it's all distraction for me.
That's me. That's amazing. You know, I think that's important. I think that you really find yourself and you're really clear.
Yeah, you have to be. I mean,
do.
I got to tell you though, the key factor for staying this way is an accountability partner, and that's Lane. So Lane and I check each other every day. We're checking each other every day. I feel like this. I feel like that. What do you think? Oh yeah, well this. Okay, yeah. And you can't be scared. I mean, Lane's 32. I'm 53, so he's 21 years younger than me. Just like my wife, funny enough. And I don't ever say, well, you can't say that to me, ever, because he has insights that I don't have. So he'll say something to me sometimes where anyone else would say, what did you say? But I get it because he's just telling his truth, right? And I can accept that, and I'm the same to him, and he accepts it too. So that's key to staying at that temple, because everyone has that epiphany. Oh my God, yes. Oh, I had a near death experience, and this, that. Oh my God. And then 2 months later, you're back in the old routine. Well, how do you stay at that epiphany? How do you stay at that level of energy? How do you stay at that level of like focus and intensity? How? Accountability partner. One of the ways.
One of the ways. What about?
Yeah, because you can meditate, you can journal and meditate and do all this kind of stuff and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Spend your whole day doing all kinds of spiritual stuff, and that can get you there. But a lot of people tend to overload. You need one thing. Right? That drives you, that keeps you there, keeps you on pace, it keeps you on focus, keeps you in step. You need one thing. And anything else on top is going to be a solidification of that, or an added value or something like that. But trying to do, I used to get up and I'd spend time with my family. Or first of all, what would I do? I'd get up, I do my morning ritual before I got out of bed. Then I'd come down and journal. Then I'd meditate, right? And then I'd read. And then I go sit with my family. Hell, that was 2 hours right there. Then I go to the gym. That was 3 hours. So 3 hours of my morning was gone just doing things for me, which was great. But I didn't see the effect that I thought I could have. So I reduced it to a very small sort of activity in the morning. And I'm much more productive, much more happy, much less distracted, much less trying, I got to sit down and meditate. Don't bother me, kids, because I got a 5 and a 6-year-old, good luck. And so you don't have to do all these things. People talk about magic mornings and all this kind of stuff. I was a big fan too, until I realized this is a lot of shit I got to do every morning. It's like a job, it's like a job trying to do all these things every morning, So what can I do that actually helps me? Not only in the morning, but during the day. When do I take a break? Do I take a nap? Hell yeah, I take a nap. I take a power nap every day, 20 minutes. I love it. It's the best part of the day. And it's like, what are the things you can do for yourself through the day? It's not just morning. It's not just night. It's not just day. Through the day. How do you feel good? What do you eat? When do you eat? People forget that our body is a temple and everything goes from here. So within is so important that's healthy. And however you keep that healthy, that's up to you.
That resonates a lot. That's
Good.
amazing.
Good.
You bring in so much value, and I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people trying to get there, and it's not easy.
No, it's not, but it's a never-ending journey, and that's the cool thing about it is you're I always say getting to the end, there is no end. Even after you die and we pass through this earth, it's still not ending. So it's about being the best version every day. And if I can be the best version of myself every day with what I know and what I have, well, then that's what I want to do. That doesn't mean this is the best I'll ever be, but it's the best I'll be right now to this point. And tomorrow I'll be better. And the day after that, I'll be better and better and better and better. And when you have that in your mind to be the best version of yourself, there's no relation to anything in the world. It's a relation to yourself, how you feel about yourself. If you're working at the gas station and you love it and you feel great and you're motivated and that's where you're supposed to be. That's your passion. That's your drive, right? Right there at that moment. Maybe later in life you change, but as long as you stay at that level with your accountability partner, as long as you stay at that level of that passion and drive that you have every single day, it doesn't really matter what you do, because it's all about the happiness within. That's what drives you, that content, that presence, that feeling of, I know that I'm headed in the right direction. I know I am. You think I liked being a doorman after being in the Army, having 14-year-old kids telling me I'm a loser and to get a real job? I didn't like it at first when I thought about it, but then when I said, you know what, this is a perfect time to get to know people and learn how to talk to people and learn how to build relationships. And so that's what I did. I met the mayor, and then I went into the health club scene. Same thing. I met politicians in the sauna. They were in my comfort zone, not in their comfort zone. So I got to know these people, and now they're friends for life. Politicians, royals, leaders, I mean, everything. And so you always make the best out of where you are. And people will see that and say, wow, this person is like, when I was a doorman, they're like, what in the hell are you doing on the door? Like, what? You're not a grunt, sort of like beat you up, kind of thing. I was just like, hey, I'd sing songs and just have a good time. And that always drives you forward. Be the best of what you are, whatever you are, period.
Period. There's no other way.
Exactly. There is no
There's
other way.
simply no other way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So what's a question that you would like people to ask you and they never ask you?
I don't know. I get asked all kinds of questions. Because I create that space. When you create space, there's no limits, right? So I don't know. I think a lot of people always talk about that. What did you learn from crashing, and what did you learn from being homeless, and what did you learn from all the, because they want to find that step forward and stuff. But no, I don't think anyone ever asked me, like, what do I feel like right now? What do I feel about life in the very moment? Or, I think, how do I feel about life right now, kind of thing. I guess that's it. But the now is always changing. That's a hard question. So I get asked all kinds of questions all the time, constantly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tough one. Yeah, I would guess that would be it. I guess that'd be it. Like, how do you feel about life right now? In this moment when we're talking, or right before or right after and stuff. So I'm grateful. My kids just left with my wife to exchange a toy from Christmas. I was out there playing with them a little bit before. I love it. I love my life. I love it.
It's about finding that balance, right? Finding that balance between family, business, or passion, whatever your passion you have.
Yeah, I like to call it integration.
Integration.
Integrate everything into your life. We have one big benefit when we are in the military is we learned how to integrate our life with our career, right? So to make it one, so we're not shutting off, shutting on, shutting off, turning on, shutting off, turning on. Job's over. Now I got to be personal. How do you integrate all of this into your life, body, mind, relationships, and business? How do I integrate all that stuff into my life so everything's balanced? So I'm the same person in every single aspect. I'm the same person at work as I am online, as I am at TV, as I am, at events and with my wife. The same person. And how do you reach that? Well, go back to our book again. I can go through that. Same thing.
Being true to yourself and being authentic all the time.
Yeah, but being authentic is a byproduct, right? It's not something you can do actively. It's being a byproduct. It's being true to who you are. When you're true to who you are, I always say, who is Elon Musk like? Who does he remind you of? Nobody. He's he's Elon Musk. Right? Well, what about Bill Gates? Who's he remind you of? Nobody. He's Bill Gates. What about Steve Jobs? Nobody. He's Steve Jobs, right? Does any of those people that are super successful like that, do they remind you of anybody? No, because they're themselves. They're true to who they are. They're damned to be the world. They're doing what they want to do, and they see their path and they're driving it, period. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people want to be like, or like someone gets a coaching certification. They say, look, I'm a John Maxwell coach. Well, if I wanted to hire John Maxwell, I'd hire him, not you. Right? So it's that kind of thing. Take the certification, learn from the certification, use it, implement it to make yourself better and become who you're supposed to be. Right? Become who you're supposed to be.
Simple.
Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah. Simple as that. No, I like that. I really like it.
Good.
It's true. It's just
Lost you. What was
you
that?
know, any, you lost me. Any additional advice that you want to give? Any? You share
No.
so much already. That's
Yeah, I think
amazing.
that's a lot. I think if someone listens to all that and sort of implements, gets the book, grabs it, it's on Audible, it's on Kindle, and it's on Amazon. That's the first book. It's coming out as a college course as well. Within about a month, you'll be able to take that course, the Humble Alpha course, Unleash Your Humble Alpha course, and you'll have a college certification, a college certificate from accredited college. So it's a whole different world we're opening up here. We're, Lane and I, we have no doubt this is going to change the paradigm of what actual leadership is. We have absolutely no doubt at all. It's happening. It's happening right now as we speak.
Well, I started reading already. I'm halfway through, and so far, like read like all the read it a couple times because anytime I find a good book, I do that. You know, so it's I believe it's gonna be a classic.
Good.
Definitely, because it's what we need. It's what we need. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Great to be on.
Yes, and thank you for being my guest. Appreciate it.
Of course. Let me know when it comes out.
Yes, we'll do that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Um,